And we are live. Hi. So this is my first ever live stream on my Dollhouse Studios channel. I'm Jay Doll, and I'll be your guide through setting up a short documentary topical video. Perfect little YouTube vid. What we're going to do today is make a short little YouTube video for my dentist client. I have a dentist that great guy, a holistic dentist. Fantastic, 76 years old, still plays hockey. He's in better shape than I am. He's like 25 years older than me. So I listen to him, and he does all my dental work. Look at those bright whites, eh? I do lots of work for him on an ongoing basis. And he just streams me his ideas. He's like, he's kind of stream of consciousness guy. So today we'll be going over the basic principles you need to get videos going, which I've put down into this overlay. The steps we need to know we have down before we even agree to make a video, or what we need to start. First, you need your idea, and it's got to be like an elevator pitch idea. You got to be able to, in 2 sentences, say what is the reason for doing this. Then you need a script. No script is no product. You can wing it if you're making like fail compilation videos or something, but we're going to have a narration and a story and a through line and a point, so script to be your next step. And then getting ready to work. You need project management. You need to know where your files are going to be, how you're going to structure your project. And then we move on to the first step of video is audio. So you need your voiceover, your narration, and or your music to begin. And that's how we're going to start. Our first files will be voiceover and music. And then start cutting. So first, for concept, I'm going to bring in my other screens here. I use good old Slack to communicate with my collaborators and or clients. You can see here I've got a channel called Dr. G Writings, and he just sends me, look at all this stuff. This is just like 2 months worth. Each of these here is a different Word document that he's written. And they're all massive, kind of run-on sentences. And that one's not bad. So what we want to do is make like a 3 to 5 minute video here. So I can't do one of these epic ones that he's got. Like latest one he sent me. Look at this. There isn't even punctuation. So let's look at a shorter one here. Greenacre theory of how powerfully mouth diseases influence metabolic diseases. It was all kind of a run-on sentence. This is the doc right here. Let me bring this down into the window. Dolphin Dentistry here in Ottawa. Anybody in Ottawa, if you want a good dentist, this is the guy. It's fantastic. DolphinDentistry.com. Okay. System of super efficient mouth-brain 10-step diagnostic system for ND's office staff to learn how to... Look at this, just a run-on sentence. Holy smoke. And the other thing, a buddy of his wrote an article. Let's take a look at that. I know it's popping these things into the other window. There. Try the oldest known recipe for toothpaste from ancient Egypt. So how long is this? 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Wow, image of ancient Egyptian dentistry. Holy crap. Man, you sure hope they had some kind of anesthetic back then. All right, so for me personally, I very rarely write scripts. People are usually hiring me for a concept. And they give me at least reference material, much like in Slack here. I get a bunch of notes. Maybe I've got to edit and organize. I do a lot of script editing. I try to avoid writing because writing sucks. It's slow, takes forever. Some people are gifted in that department. So what we're going to do is we're going to see, is there any junk in the text? No, so I can just take the entire text of this article, copy, and there are two things we can do now to get to our next step. For script, I mean, we've got the script. We're going to copy this. For moving to voiceover, two things you can do. What I do is I use an AI voice creation tool called Descript. I'll open that up now. And we're going to make a new project. Okay, going to go W into write mode. There. Okay. So my script is in. And now from here, I can assign a speaker. It comes with a whole bunch of stock voices. I've also made my own voice into a narrator. Let's see what these people sound like.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good time.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop
Not
from the
bad.
negatives.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important.
pretty good.
Capture the good times. Develop from the negatives. And
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop
not
from the
bad.
negatives. And if
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's
The
important.
younger guy.
Capture the good times, develop from the negatives.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop
Kinda
from the
soft.
negative.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop from the negatives. And if things don't
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important.
That guy's silly.
Capture the good times.
So I don't know. What do
Develop from
you
the
guys
negative.
think? Who's
things
a-
don't work out, just take another shot.
Malcolm might be good. Well, I got to set it here to... sentences are too long, it says. Try adding a period when in fact toothpaste manufacturer points out the base have not changed since the times the ancient Babylonians. A handle grip. So I guess all these red ones are too long. Okay, so we'll go through and edit this down. I'll put in periods where I can. 2003 cures the Vietnamese museum uncovered the world's oldest known formula for toothpaste in the Telegraph. Used to be more than 1,500 years before Colgate began marketing. Egyptian papyrus describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that when mixed with saliva makes clean toothpaste. Period. Whoops. Recipe is as follows. Okay. Cool, so those are cleaning up. I don't know why it won't do these ones. Invent, I added a period. Oh, that's not 250 words. Told to rub teeth and gums among the teeth. Black teeth, period. Or maybe I'll put the period after it. Maybe that'll help it. Okay, those are all good. In any case, while medieval understanding confirmed that idea was the past, seems a daily also might have been much more like our own than we would suspect. Snobbery, period. Okay, that's working. Won't do this part. When 250 characters. Who remarked? We'll put a period there. Doesn't make a huge difference. The AI will take a little bit of a pause. Exposed, period. There we go. Okay, discovered among the largest collections in the world. Okay, most dental cures of the time were based on herbal and remedy. You can make a period there. For example, in the Rose Anglica writer John Gadsden reports. Reports, period. Some say that the beak of a magpie hung from the neck cures pain in the teeth. Another remedy involves sticking a needle into a many-footed worm, which rolls up in a ball when you touch it. Okay, period. Touch. Touch the aching tooth without really pulling in, the pain will be erased. Okay, there we go. Companions and readers are told to rub teeth and gums with cloth after eating. Try a period there. Okay, period. So it's like everything with, modern digital tech, CG, computer-generated images, AI. It's a lot of work up front, but then after that, becomes a thing that you can just play with and mold. In the Trotula, a compendium of folk remedies from the 12th century, we find many recipes for what might be considered toothpaste. Put a period there. Though their efficacy is dubious. Danielle, it's going to be interesting to see how it pronounces that. Okay, almost all the red is gone. While medieval texts tend to confirm certain ideas about our pronouns, it seems that the daily practices of more ancient peoples in Egypt and elsewhere get rid of the in any case. Okay, there we go. Good. Won't do this part. So let me start that section over. I wonder why it won't do this part. Just won't transcribe that. Okay, so let's go to a handle to grip. I wonder why it does all that. I mean, that's by far longer than these. Retry overtook and They all have periods at the end. Okay, so what we'll do is Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth. And I'll make a new document. Whoa. Copy, paste. Okay. According to the Telegraph. Copy. Paste. Well, you know what I should do? I should copy cut them, and then paste. Get rid of the formatting. Okay, used to 1873, used more than 1500 to 1873. Okay, so we'll get rid of this whole section that has failed. So, but it's believed that a handle to grip, but it is believed that take the first line, copy, and paste. Okay, now it's happy. Good old AI never does exactly what it says it's going to do. All right, let's have a listen.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we might do well to actually learn how people in the distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area of dental.
That comma is making him screw up. Oh, what the hell? Why won't it do this? Is there some kind of extra formatting going in? Huh. Okay. I'll show you guys another tool we got here. This is Speechelo Blaster. I got an outrageous deal on this. So keep your eyes open. They'll give you a big discount on this. It was something like 30 bucks for life for the light version. So this is another one. Let's see if it'll take the whole script here. I don't know why it thinks those sentences are over 250 characters. It's bonkers.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients. This is a preview. For full.
That's good. What's Rosie like?
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients.
She's good too. Friendly tone.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients.
This is a preview.
Okay. Probably going to have some issues with some of these names, but we'll see. Generate voiceover. Split the text, yeah. In 2003. Okay. There we go. Got some paragraphs. There, it's happier now. At the end of the day, this is, I might go with the AI, or I might do the voiceover myself, or we can bring in talent. I'm going to download this. But first, what are we doing? Concept script. Script is done. Project management. So I'm going to open up Post Haste here. Bring that down to the screen so we can see it. And this is a project management tool that creates folder structures on your hard drive where you want it, with all the presets that you can make here. Create this folder structure that I've designed. This app is free. Go get it if you're on Mac. There are similar things for PC. Client is Dolphin Dentistry. Project name is Oldest Toothpaste. Date is today. Editor is good old JDoll. So click Create Project. I'm going to go down to my external drives, which are here. I'll just move the cam, my secondary cam. You can see right right here, two good old-fashioned platter hard drives. And unless we're doing a huge movie with like Blackmagic's 6K camera footage, edit right off these drives most of the time with no problem. Okay, Dr. Dolphin. And here we go. There. So now we're in the Finder, and it's made all this stuff. So first thing we're going to do is grab the script and save. So you see every time that I make these projects through Post Haste, it drops in a text document with the same name as the project, and I just paste it in our script from that. It's always handy to have this around. You can share it with the client, you can use it for your voiceover, you can follow along with it. I'll just drop that into the script folder because it is actually the script. And we'll get, we're ready to start almost. Are we? Let's grab music. I always start with music. So we're doing like ancient history kind of thing. I'll bet you there's some stuff already set for that. So I have a membership at Envato Elements. It's $200 US per year. And it gives you access to royalty-free music, plugins and templates for your video editor, stock video, stock footage, Photoshop files. Look at all this stuff. It's crazy. Fonts, you name it. Everything you need to do this job. And it supplies licenses with them. So I'm in the music section. What I'm going to do is go down to the bottom here and excludes rights management, excludes YouTube ID. So this way, if I like any of these, they're going to give me what I want, but it's not going to trigger any ID copyright issues on YouTube or any other websites, which I'd have to put the paperwork in to show that I have the license. Okay, so let's just try what we're doing here. Ancient history. Oh, I'll put Egypt in too. Because you know people make lots of documentaries about that.
Audio Jungle.
Ooh. That's awesome.
Audio Jungle.
I don't think I want a loud one. More Celtic. Let's try just Egypt. Not bad. 3 minutes long too. This is great. You can also filter by tempo. You can filter by length. Set it to be however long you want. 3 to 4 minutes should be good for this script. Alright, so let's download a few candidates. I don't know why it's giving me tips. Okay. So these, Envato is great. So what it does, you make your project. And this is... So I'm going to copy that right out of Finder. And add and download. And what that's doing is, as I download this, it's adding to my account the license to use this. And we're going to go Dr. Dolphin, oldest toothpaste, media, audio, music. And we're getting everything organized right from the go. And let's listen to a couple others. Ooh,
Audio Jungle.
a little groovier. Ooh, I love that.
Audio Jungle.
Okay, I just like the hip-hopness of that. Add and download. Same place. It's more atmospheric. That might work. I mean, I like the other beats because of the beat, but it might be too much for what we're doing. That's pretty cool too. So we'll take these 4 choices and we'll see what works. I like that mystical Egypt. That's like Last Temptation of Christ stuff. Okay. So, you know, it's great. You just go right from the browser like I just did, unzip them on the fly. That opens up the Finder right away. And let's get everything started here. Did I download the voiceover? Where did I download the voiceover to? I downloaded the voiceover, didn't I? Go back to Speechelo. Oh, I assume, yeah, okay. Huh. Okay. No worries. So we go back to my folder structure, media, audio, AI voiceover. Okay. Done. Let's close that up. And we are ready, finally, to open Final Cut Pro.
But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians and Babylonians. A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth. And not only did ancient people use toothbrushes, but it is believed that Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth around 5000 BC, even before toothbrushes were invented. In 2003, curators at a Viennese museum discovered the world's oldest known formula for toothpaste, writes Aaron Zook in The Telegraph. Used more than 1,500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating
Oh
from
boy,
the 4th century
did it again.
AD, the Egyptian papyrus, not shown above, written in Greek, describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that
We've been streaming on our YouTube, other podcast channel with StreamYard for years, and now I've switched over to Restream, and it works almost exactly the same, yet slightly differently. Wow, I can't believe 42 minutes, the whole middle section of it, I didn't have audio on. Oh boy. So, quick recap, I used Descript, see how its audio was for AI audio. Went over to Speechelo. And we generated the script in there because it's got the nice girl downloaded. You would have been able to visually see my structure for creating files. I'll edit this afterwards, put up a new video. Unbelievable. We're all still learning, right?
example,
Okay, so I don't
the
know.
area of dental hygiene.
Thinking like
We might imagine the ancient
slightly
Greeks or
funky beat.
Egyptians as prone to rampant tooth decay, lacking the benefits of packaged, branded toothpaste,
Or-
silken ribbons of floss, astringent mouthwash, and ergonomic toothbrushes. But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the
This
Egyptians
one's
and
probably too
Babylonians.
intense.
A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which
That
to
one's a
clean the
little too
teeth.
dark.
And not only did ancient people use toothbrushes, but it is believed that Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth around 5000 BC,
Maybe this
even
hip-hop
before
one.
toothbrushes were invented. In 2003, curators at a
Kind of the most backgroundy. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, first things first, let's get the music stretched out.
When we assume
to
that
match
modern
the 5
improvements
minutes.
are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we
Gonna
might
go
do
for the
well to
beat here.
actually learn how
3,
people in the
4.
distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area of dental hygiene. We might imagine the ancient Greeks or Egyptians as prone to
Ding.
rampant tooth decay,
pressing M
lacking
to
the
drop
benefits of
markers here
packaged,
on the-
branded toothpaste, silken ribbons of
2,
floss,
3,
astringent
4,
mouthwash,
3,
and
2,
ergonomic
3,
toothbrushes.
4,
But in
4,
fact, as toothpaste
3,
manufacturer
4,
Colgate
3,
points
2,
out, the
3,
basic
4,
fundamentals of toothbrush
2,
design have not
3,
changed since the
4,
times of the
4,
Egyptians
2,
and Babylonians.
3, 4.
A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth. And not only did ancient people use toothbrushes, but it is believed that Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth around 5000 BC, even before toothbrushes were invented. In 2003,
2,
curators at a
3,
Viennese
4,
museum
4.
discovered the world's oldest known formula for
Okay, so
in toothpaste. Zuckerberry in Vienna. Care is far better than much of what was available then. Most dental cures of the time, writes Trevor Anderson in a Nature article, were based on herbal remedies, charms, and amulets. For example,
there, so that's the last beat. Delete. It seems to stay pretty much the same, so I'm not going to go and do every 16 bars or anything. But we got a little bit of an intro here. And with the letter N, I can turn snapping on and off. Here I'm free floating, and I hit the letter N, and now I'll click snap to any border anywhere, which is helpful, but sometimes you don't want that. So I'm going to hold down letter B, I switch to the scissor tool, cut.
we might do well to actually learn how people in the distant past lived before indulging in
And what I want to do is make cuts of each, kind of 16 bar, 4 counts of 4, where the music is changing, and then I can get into, once they bring in the full beat.
Prone to rampant tooth decay, lacking the benefits of packaged, branded toothpaste, silken
that's
ribbons
gonna
of floss,
happen here.
astringent mouthwash, and ergonomic toothbrushes. But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush, a handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth.
There, so I
And
think
not only
that's
did
it
ancient
there.
people use toothbrushes, but it is believed
Cut at
that
the end.
Egyptians,
And I'm guessing I can just copy this whole thing over. So, as I said, remember, get your music, when you're in Final Cut, get your music into its own storyline. So I'll show you that up here. Beautiful on Macs is you can always click Help and search for whatever it is you want. I'm doing Create Storyline, Command G, and it puts the WAV file into a little storyline of its own, which acts just like the main magnetic timeline, which is great for doing stuff like this. So I'm going to get rid of these other music files. I don't need them. And I am going to click and hold down Control and place it after the first one. Everything gets out of the way. And once you put things into their own storylines, they'll all stay connected like this, no matter what you delete. I can delete this whole middle section again. That's great. So look, we're almost perfect. Almost perfect.
whether any of these formulas would have worked at all, I cannot say, but they likely worked better than charms and amulets. In any case, while medieval European texts tend to confirm certain of our ideas,
just a little bit,
crabfoot, date pits,
let's try
and
to get 4
olives,
more bars.
grind all of these and reduce them to a powder, then rub the effect.
Whoops. And back to letter A for my keep my normal tool. Oh, almost.
Then rub. Practices of more ancient peoples in Egypt and elsewhere might have been much more like our own than we would suspect.
Could work. We'll see.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancient.
Okay, let's get some titles. Up here in Final Cut, we've got our general project for the file, video files, media files, project files. This strange section is very Apple-y, like Apple TV. Like, what the hell you can do with that? But sound effects are in here should we need them. That's the only thing I ever use that for. And then up here is titles and generators. Titles being titles, we all know what those are. Generators being more complicated, often 3D things, graphical design things. We'll use that in a second. Let's just find a tasteful title. I've got film credits here. I always like this one. It always does really cool stuff. Very tasteful. So let's see.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the when we
Okay, and then Final Cut is always clip based. I'm gonna move this over there. I'll get rid of this slug. Okay, so here we go. How do we want this to look? Do I want these little ones and the big ones, or just one big word? How about we focus on toothpaste? So titles can be tricky. It can be hard to select the different sections sometimes for what you need, and each one of these is going to be different. When we have a title selected, the inspector will change to show parameters specific for it. If the person who has designed this has set it up, there's going to be a special pane that controls it, which is nice for us. So here we can just enter the text individually. And let's go the oldest. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Cut toothpaste. The oldest toothpaste in the world.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancient.
Cool. Now, I don't like the way this one fades out.
When we assume that modern improvements are far
It's like
superior
blink
to the
I don't know why it does that. So what I'm going to do is turn off the outro animation there.
assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do here is a trick that we're going to see a lot of in Final Cut. We're going to do something, we're going to make a compound clip. So I'm doing Control G, and it'll automatically name each one in order. And what this does is tells Final Cut that this is its own little video, and so now I can apply normal kind of video controls to it. And what I'd like to do is make it fade out. I want to control that fade
Assume
out
that modern
because
improvements are
I didn't
far
like the way
superior.
it blinked on the fade out before. That was something that the designer of this kind of screwed up on. So I'm hitting Option V, and that's expanding us to get some controls. For the opacity, double click on it, it opens up, and this is just, you know, how see-through it is. And this is a fade that I'm adding right here. Just by grabbing this little handle. Let's see how it works now.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we
Okay,
might do well to
good.
act.
Might want it to fade out a little slower.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the
Great.
practices.
Cool. Okay, Option V to collapse that back down to normal. And then let's start looking for footage. So, stock video. Let's go Egypt. Should be lots of stuff for Egypt. That's cool. Slow pan on a pyramid. Download for dolphin dentistry. And I want to go into media film. Okay, all this stuff is good. We're just going to be looking to have all sorts of background roll. Okay, let's definitely get some of that. Ooh. That's pretty cool. Might be able to do some fancy transitions with that. Whoops. That's nice. It's a great thing about little bits like this is we're not filming in a host. We can kind of show whatever we want here. Okay, so let's get a look at this script again. So let's get some shots of toothpaste. Okay, what else do we have? I'm going to close Descript so it's not stealing memory. I'm going to go to my script. Take for example, hygiene, Looks like I'll need some Greek stuff too. Egyptian papyrus. Let's get some papyri. That one's good. So just going to go through the script and see what kind of, A-roll, B-roll shots I'm going to need. We don't really have so much in the way of the A-roll. The B-roll is going to be the A-roll in this. And, when people are talking about video, A-roll is going to be, in the documentary, it's going to be the interviews and the shots of the locations that people are talking about. B-roll is going to be your random little inserts that you're going to put in for mood or transitions or quick cutaways. But since we don't have interviews or locations, our B-roll is going to be our A-roll. These scenes that I'm picking are going to be the main timeline. Let's go to a museum. Let's go Vienna Museum. Ooh, nice push in. Vienna, Austria. Oh wow, that's cool. It's this or that push in. I like that push in too. That one's really nice. Okay, got all this stuff downloading. A lot of this stuff's 4K. Takes a while. Excuse me. Toothpaste, larger collection documents. Yeah. Dental remedies, medieval England. Okay, let's do medieval England. I'll even just copy that phrase here. Man, lots of planes out today. Glastonbury. Let's do that. No, I think we got a castle or something. There we go. Oh, there we go. That's nice. Portchester. Yeah, let's do. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, that's very nice. Let's grab that. And remember, all this stuff for my $200 a year is licensed. And it's licensed for life. Even if I, even if I stopped paying, my clients know that they have a license to use this footage. So as much as I always can, I try to stick to this licensed footage or public domain stuff, because you can get yourself in serious trouble using other people's footage. Okay. Rosa Anglican, its reports. Beak of a magpie hung from the neck. Let's see. Do we have magpie? Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, he's awesome. Okay, the beak of a magpie. Where were we? Beak of magpie. Many-footed worm, which rolls up in a ball. Sticking a needle into a many-footed worm. Touch the aching tooth with that roly-poly needle. What do you... Okay, there we go. Many-footed worm. What is it? Centipede? Centipede. Many-footed worm. There we go. Ew. I got a bug thing. I don't like bugs. Okay, many-footed worm. Powers clean teeth, filling cavities. Some surgical. It's wild. You never think of this. You think that like dentistry just kind of popped up once we got all sciencey and computery, but of course this is something they've been working on forever. Walnut shells. Walnut shells. That's classy. Dun, 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 Black teeth with warm wine, salt, more extravagant recipes, fern, date pits, natron, red tile, salt, and pumice. Powder, damp wool wrapped in a linen cloth. Huh. Wonder if they'd have a poultice in here. That seems like a stretch. No. They're a luxury variety. Well out of reach the average person. Cinnamon. Okay, let's do cinnamon. Let's look at spices. Maybe they'll have a nice kind of spread of various spices. Ooh. There we go. Exactly. It's wild to think how there's a whole cottage industry of people making these videos, trying to guess at what you're going to need and want. Oh, kind of neat. Powder, close-up of spices. That's not bad. Take that one too, just in case. And so I'm going through and, like, you know, each paragraph probably needs a couple shots. Whether any of these formulas would have worked at all, I cannot say. Oh, I missed that first person. I don't like that first person stuff. Is that a quote? We are sure how this formula works the best. Take some symbols. Okay, well, I'll probably have to fix that. All right, let's start pulling stuff in. I'm going to go back to my project browser here. We're going to add a bunch of footage. And I go over to, back to the Finder, Film, and look at all that. Couple things still downloading. Those must be big 4K monsters. All right. Some of these are zipped up. Okay, we're unzipping. Oh, it's a big boy. Wow.
When we
We'll do a little fade in here. So everything being so clippy in Final Cut, every clip has its own controls like this. You can do really quick fade ins like this. Nice round fade in.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we might do well to actually learn how people in the distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery.
One more zip.
Take, for example, the area of dental hygiene. We might imagine the ancient Greeks or Egyptians as prone to rampant tooth decay, lacking the benefits of packaged, branded toothpaste, silken ribbons of floss, astringent mouthwash, and ergonomic toothbrushes. But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians and Babylonians. A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth.
Whoops. Had that disabled for some reason. Start again.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we might do well to actually learn how people in the distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area of dental hygiene.
That's a good shot.
We might imagine the ancient Greeks or Egyptians as prone to rampant tooth decay, lacking the benefits of packaged, branded toothpaste, silken ribbons of floss, astringent mouthwash, and ergonomic toothbrushes. But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians and Babylonians. A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth. And not only did ancient people use toothbrushes, but it is believed that
3D
Egyptians
toothpaste
started using a paste to clean their
thing.
teeth around 5000 BC, even before toothbrushes were invented. In 2003, curators at a Viennese museum discovered the world's oldest known formula for toothpaste, writes Iranzuk in the Telegraph.
Oh, that's cool.
Used more than 1,500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in
Yeah, let's do
1873.
that.
Dating from the 4th century
Macro
AD,
zoom
the
shot
Egyptian
of toothbrush
papyrus, not
bristles.
shown above, written in
Maybe
Greek,
this in the
describes
water?
a
That's
powder
nice.
for white and perfect teeth that, when mixed with saliva, makes a
Oh,
clean
that's a little
toothpaste.
clearer, actually.
The recipe is as follows.
The
Zook
Ukrainian
summarizes:
toothbrush.
1 drachma of rock salt, measure equal to 1/100th of an ounce, 2 drachmas of mint, 1 drachma of dried iris flower, and 20
That
grains of
toothbrush in the
pepper,
water is
all of
nice.
it crushed and mixed together. Zook quotes dentist Heinz Newman, who remarked, "Nobody in the dental profession had any idea that such an advanced toothpaste formula of this antiquity existed. Having tried the ancient recipe at a dental conference in Austria, he found it not unpleasant."
So a real good trick you can do, you can make your music like, I'm going to turn it up 2 decibels here, option plus.
Zook quotes dentist Heinz Newman.
And then, starting on the first one, we're going to add an EQ. And we're going to take a very similar, the screaming kid is out in the hall. And right here, the human voice centers around 1K with consonants and stuff closer in the 2K, a little bit in the mids. And they're just pulling out 1 to 3 decibels here in this range. And it's itself going to make a little scoop, a little bit of room for the vocals, and I can make the music a little bit louder overall with that little trick. So I put that EQ on that clip. One of the lamest things about Final Cut is that there are no audio tracks, so I can't take that EQ and put it so that all the voiceover goes through that one EQ. I've got to paste that EQ into every single one. So I have it here, Command Copy, select all of the remaining music, Command Shift V, and now I can paste attributes. And here I want to put that EQ in. Okay.
Graph. Used more than 1,500
And it's subtle.
years
You
before
really don't notice
Colgate
the difference,
began
but
marketing the first
it allows the
commercial
voice
brand
to
in
pop
1873.
forward in a 3D way.
Dating
and
from the
music
4th
to
century AD, the
scoop
Egyptian
around it.
papyrus, not shown above, written in Greek,
Okay.
describes a powder
we
for
done
white and
downloading?
perfect
Yes.
teeth that, when mixed with saliva, makes a clean toothpaste.
Get rid of all the zip files.
The recipe is as follows. Zook summarizes:
Everything in here is a
1
movie
drachma of
file.
rock salt, measure equal
We're
to
gonna bring it
1/100th of an
all
ounce,
in.
2 drachmas of mint, 1 drachma of dried iris flower, and 20 grains of pepper,
Final Cut.
all of them.
Okay. Cool. Is it 20? That look like 20? Yeah, okay. Let's start building a timeline, people.
When we assume that modern improvement
We're going to turn off this one's got a solid background, so I'm going to get rid of that in a sec. So let's see what we got
When
here.
we assume that modern improvements are far
Okay, so we got a few hotkeys. You can see here above the timeline, we've got different ways of taking clips from the browser and putting them into the main visual timeline. So this one, the first one with Q as a hotkey, will, when I hit it, it'll put the clip above the timeline. So kind of a B-roll thing. W will split clips apart and insert it between them. We don't really have that. And I can put a new slug in here. And if I hit W, it'll push the 2 slugs apart and insert the footage. Then here we've got append, which doesn't matter where your cursor is. If I hit E, it's going to make it a brand right at the end no matter what. Undo that. And then I'll put the slug back. And then D, overwrite, is wherever your cursor is. Doesn't matter about these 2 slugs, doesn't matter what's sitting there. It's going to take whatever you have selected up here and hardcore replace everything with that selection. Okay, so let's see.
when we assume that modern improvements
So we're talking about modern stuff, so let's do that. I'm going to put it in the timeline. Which one do we want to do? We can do append.
When we assume that modern improvements are far superior to the practices of the ancients, we might do well to actually learn how people in the distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery.
Oh, look at that. I'm an idiot. I pasted in the volume ramp on all of those subsequent clips. So what we can do here is reset the volume parameter and then bring it down, and it's affecting all these clips, which is nice. So that should get rid of those fade-ins. Yes, great.
Distant past lived before indulging in chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area.
Okay, let's go to like an Egypt pan here.
In chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area of dental hygiene. We might imagine the ancient Greeks or Egyptians as prone to rampant.
Okay, so I switched too early to there, so let's put the clip there and go at dental hygiene. So maybe this guy, I'll do W to insert.
Before indulging in chronological snobbery.
I'm not worried about transitions or anything. We're just going to rapidly crawl through this and build out our timeline.
Before indulging in chronological snobbery. Take, for example, the area of dental hygiene. We might imagine the ancient Greeks or Egyptians as prone to rampant tooth decay, lacking the benefits of packaged, branded toothpaste, silken ribbons of floss, astringent mouthwash, and ergonomic toothbrushes.
So she's going through all those materials, so let's go back to dental care, maybe? See if we can get... dental floss. Something that shows, there we go, it's exactly what we want. Download to film, so I'll just remember to come back to that in a bit.
Paste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians and Babylonians.
Okay, so let's get our toothbrush in there. I'm pressing E to append.
But in fact, as toothpaste
And if you're not a hotkey person, I mean, you know, I love my hotkeys, but just go grab it and bring it in.
But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic...
And we're working with very short clips here, so I haven't needed to do it yet. But while you're working in the browser here, you can use the letters I and O to create ranges, right? Oh crap! How do you clear ranges? I can't remember now. Off to the internet. LFCPX clear range in browser. Can never remember the hotkey for this. So I'm going to clear selected range option X. So strange. Option X. Option X. Option X. There we go. Cleared the range. All right, cool. So you just touch it and it selects the whole clip. And then if you only want a little bit of a clip, you can always in and out. I and O. And collect little ranges. Okay? Probably be using the full range of most of these clips.
Mouthwash and
So let's go E for the toothbrush close
brushes. But in fact, as toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have
Press
not
Q
changed
and
since the
drop
times
the-
of the Egyptians and Babylonians.
So this is going to work a lot better in slow-mo. Let's change the timing on it. Okay, find out where the brush comes back in. Okay. Okay. All right, we got our little timer guy up here. Slow, 50%.
Of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians.
Man, maybe even slower. 25%.
Of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians.
Now, that's kind of lame because of how cheesy You can see all the frames going by, but very cool features in Final Cut and all the NLEs actually. DaVinci and Premiere have this as well. We've got two ways of making this look better. So you can do frame blending, which is kind of faster. It just takes the positional data between the frames and blurs it.
Toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the
So it's
Egyptians.
kind of a look. Then there's a much more of a complicated one called optical flow. It'll take it a while for it to analyze that, but once it's done, the slow-mo will be much smoother. It puts in new frames. So we'll see how that looks in a sec when it's done.
As toothpaste manufacturer Colgate points out, the basic fundamentals of toothbrush design have not changed since the times of the Egyptians and Babylonians. A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth.
Maybe we'll put that actually on the timeline.
A handle to grip, and a bristle-like feature with which to clean the teeth. And not only did ancient people use toothbrushes, but it is believed that Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth around 5000 BC.
Okay, I'm going to put the dialogue into a storyline as well. Now, for those of you that will be doing voiceover, you know, this is just the way that I go about it to get my cut done quickly. So I get script writing and voiceover done in one step with these AI applications. Descript has a free tier. It can be done in a web browser. It'll allow you a few hours of transcription. So several of these short videos you can be done without paying for it. And that Speechelo Blaster, I think it was $40 for life for that light version. And then they try to sucker you into getting more voices for a monthly fee. But what this does is it gets me my script, my voiceover in one step. And the most important thing is that I've got it blocked out and I'm ready to cut. And I can see how long this is going to be. I can start cutting footage in and doing all this stuff. And I've removed an entire other annoying process, which is doing the voiceover. Now, I do voiceovers for a lot of my, especially the higher-end documentaries, half-hour historical documentaries I do for other clients like Canadian Patriot Press. I'll do the voiceover because, you know, AI is just, it's cool for some things, it doesn't work for some others. But there's no reason why you, as an editor starting your project, you can just grab your phone and do your voiceover into your phone, send it to your Mac or PC, and drop that in and start cutting that. The only thing is that, you know, I mean, as humans, we misspeak all the time. You want to do a few takes, so you're looking at quite a bit more cutting and stuff. So for me, I love having the AI to just do this to get my timing down. And then later you can always go back and record in voiceover. And maybe next time we'll do a human voiceover to do this. But for the first draft, don't sweat the details on this. Just get your script done, get your rough voiceover done if you want to do it yourself. Phone, read the script in a natural way and, you know, act it out a little bit, take your time, present it as if you're, you know, Richard Attenborough. But you don't have to worry about even keeping that performance. You can always go back. This gives you something to time things out. So, you know, and then I've got the ability now, like she did a
Egyptians started using a paste to
strange little break there. I guess I might have screwed up where I was cutting it. And since I put this into its own little timeline, we can get rid of these errors like this. I'm zooming in. And we're going to go put them right together.
that Egyptians started using a
It's just so weird. Egyptians, I must have put a period after that.
Egyptians started using
So these need to be almost right on top of each other.
Egyptians started using.
In fact, I will put them a little bit on top of each other, and then I'm going to do a neat trick. Click, shift click, they're both selected. Control T, sorry, Option T. No. Did it happen? Yeah, okay. Can't see it. But it's made little crossfades. When I did Control T, it's done a crossfade on them.
Egyptians started using
Ugh. Still needs to be.
Egyptians started using Egyptians started using a
That's better.
believe that Egyptians started using.
Okay, so now can we go to Egypt? Yeah, we'll do that there. Ooh, yeah. There we go. Let's put that in. So,
But it is believed that Egyptians.
so we'll put a little slug in. This is Option W. If I say Control and you try Control and it doesn't work, it's Option. I'm a weirdo, and you can see on my second screen here. Well, you can't see it, but you got to take my word for it. I've flipped Control and Option. So when I say Control, sometimes it's going to be Option. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's append Egypt.
Egyptians started using a paste to clean their teeth around 5000 BC, even before toothbrushes were invented. In 2003, curators at a Viennese museum.
Okay, the Viennese Museum.
In 2003, curators at a Viennese museum discovered the world's oldest known formula for toothpaste, writes Irenzuk in the Telegraph. Used more than 1,500 years before Colgate began. Used more than 1,500. Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century AD, the Egyptian papyrus, not shown above, written in Greek, describes a powder for.
Okay, so I got a bunch of
The
weird
Egyptian
stuff there.
papyrus.
So
Irenzuk in the known formula for toothpaste, writes
So we don't need writes this guy in the Telegraph. We don't need that. So that's going to help cut things down.
Used more than 1,500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century AD, the Egyptian papyrus, not shown above, written in Greek, describes a powder for white and perfect teeth.
Okay, so I pasted in some kind of caption from the website. That can go.
1873.
And let's get a picture of the original Colgate. See if we can find that. Original Colgate. Image. No. First Colgate toothpaste. There we go. Let's see if we can save that. We go media, stills. Back to Final Cut. Back to my project structure. Command up, command down. And we're going to pull this into stills. Okay, so select that, and where we talk about Colgate.
Used more than 1,500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 18.
Okay, so there we go. I'll do a Q. Stick it on top.
100 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century AD.
Okay, so let's make that look a little prettier, shall we? I am going to. What would make this look better? We're going to go into our effects. Command 5 in Final Cut. Make that as small as possible. And we're going to go for the crop and feather plugin. So this will take off those harsh edges. Just have to play with the setting. There, I just want to fade out those sharp, it just looks so much like I grabbed a picture from Google kind of thing. There, whoop, there. Okay. And Feathering will give us the kind of ghosting around the edge. If I want, I can make the corners rounded, which always looks pleasing. Okay, and then our compound clip again. This is option G. This is turning it into its own piece of film. And then we'll go and do our quick and easy Ken Burns. This is a nice cheap plugin you can find out there from FCP Effects online. And let's do a little zoom in with an ease. I've double clicked. You can also drag from here onto the clip.
100 years before Colgate
Okay,
began
there we go.
marketing
Kind
the
of
first
zooming
commercial
into it
brand
now.
in 1873.
It looks like I've, at least done something to make it look like less than just a ripped off picture from the web. Another thing we can do is drop a shadow on it.
Commercial.
Yeah, so you can see behind it, it's made a shadow out of this overlay, and this will give us a new layer of effect. Let's see how that looks.
500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century.
Boom.
500 years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century.
Okay. Now, one thing I didn't show you is right now it's just popping
500
in.
years before Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873.
So what we can do here is make our fade out like we did with the title. We can do like that. And like that. And now
1,500
it'll fade
years
in.
before
There we go.
Colgate began marketing the first commercial brand in 1873. Dating from the 4th century AD, the Egyptian papyrus describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that, when mixed with saliva, makes a clean toothpaste. The recipe is as follows. Zook summarizes.
Okay.
Dating from the 4th century AD, the Egyptian papyrus
V.
describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that, when mixed with saliva, makes a clean toothpaste.
Let's get clean teeth. Not sure quite what to show there.
Papyrus describes a powder for white and perfect teeth.
Oh yeah, papyrus. Let's go get that papyrus. Where was that nice shot? There we go. Okay. So again, doesn't matter where my cursor is. I'm going to hit E, and it's going to instantly append that. Oh, that's nice and long.
Describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that, when mixed.
Now with the magnetic timeline, what's great about this is that I can pull in the start, and it's staying locked to the music, staying locked to the voiceover. Everything moves over to meet it.
Describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that, dating from the 4th century AD, the Egyptian papyrus describes a powder for white and perfect teeth that, when mixed with saliva, makes a clean toothpaste. The recipe is as follows. Zook summarizes: 1 drachma of rock salt, measure equal to 1/100 of an ounce, 2 drachmas of mint, 1 drachma of dried iris flower, and 20 grains of pepper, all of them crushed and mixed together. Zook quotes dentist Heinz Newman, who remarked, "Nobody in the dental profession had any idea that such an advanced toothpaste formula of this antiquity existed."
Okay. Where are we at here? An hour and a half. So we're going to end this first phase pretty soon. There's no deadline on this, so we'll do a follow-up on this. We'll continue this on the next stream. One thing I love to do, so here it says...
Zook quotes dentist Heinz Newman, who remarked...
So this is dentist Heinz Newman. So what we're going to do here, we're going to cut...
Paste formula of this antiquity existed. Having tried the ancient recipe at a dental conference in Austria, he found it not unpleasant.
Okay, so this is our quote. I'm going to take this, I'm going to hit Control Oh wait, Option Command up arrow. I've taken it out of that storyline and it's replaced that with a slug. And I'm going to change, we can customize all these roles. So what I'm going to do is add a new audio role. And I'm going to call it VO quotes. Okay, and so I'm going to assign the audio role VO quotes. And then we're going to go into the audio effects here. And go into distortion. And let's try the television plugin. So I've got that clip selected. And I've double clicked.
Nobody in the dental profession had any idea that such an advanced toothpaste formula of this antiquity existed.
Okay, so now, this is a signal to the audience that we are listening to somebody else, and it breaks the monotony. The listener will be pulled back in to listen to this.
Nobody in the dental profession had any and mixed together. Zook quotes dentist Heinz Newman, who remarked, "Nobody in the dental profession had any idea that such an advanced toothpaste formula of this antiquity existed."
Cool. So we'll come back and flesh this out. One thing we can do is, let me get back to Slack, to the original article here. And we'll look at it in the original way. There's lots of hyperlinks here too, right? So I can do screen grabs of these original articles and show them on the timeline. It's all about just filling up space now and keeping it engaging for the audience. And in the next part, we'll start refining. Right now, everything's just jump cuts
brushes
between shots, right? But we can go in and start refining that kind of stuff, adding dissolves,
wash, and ergonomic toothbrushes.
right? So we get fancier movement, and start refining things and maybe cut to the beat a little bit more often. So let's do that on the next stream. What is it? Tomorrow is Monday. Might be tomorrow morning. I'll let you guys know. Thank you very much for joining me for this cutting session of Dollhouse Film Society. And we'll be back again on a live stream soon. We'll finish up this dentist video.